सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम्। नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः। ॐ नमः परमहंसास्वादितचरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानसनिवासाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय ॐ। So we just finished I think 11th sarga in the previous session. We will start with the 12th. And the 12th sarga, this sarga is quite a small one, 21 verses. Much of the verses are already, it's the same verses, 22 verses, which we have already seen. Most of it is the same that we have seen, I think, in 8th sarga or something. So we'll try to finish this sarga today, and if possible, some shlokas from the next sarga. But before that, I would like to make some comments. So there is something called mine in the world, you know, like gold mine, coal mine, diamond mine. So what is inside a mine? So you will see if there is a coal mine, you will see that there is coal inside the mine. So I have been fortunate to see coal mines. So there are three kinds of mining technology available in India. One is in a very nascent stage. We are trying to get the idea from other countries, Australia and other places. It's called a long wall technique or something. I have not been to that mine, but there are two other kinds of mines called the underground, the traditional underground mine, and then there is an open cast mine. So two types or three types of them. And then so what you find, why am I telling this is, you go into the mine, suppose you go into the underground mine, you go inside, you will find coal, and then the walls will be plastered by lime and things like that, but predominantly you will find coal. Suppose you go to a gold mine, what will you find? You will find gold. If you go to a diamond mine, obviously you will find diamonds. So why am I saying all this? Is there a mine in which you find everything? So is there a mine in which you find gold, diamonds and everything that is required? Do you have such a mine? So I'm trying to make some exaggeration, but then I'm trying to bring in some point, which is that yes, there is a mine like that, and that mine is Ramayana, Valmiki's Ramayana. So why am I saying like that? I hope it's audible because it's raining outside. But then why am I saying like that? Because just give me a second. I'll just close the door and be back. So just give me a second. Yeah, so is there a mine in which you find all of these? So I was trying to say, of course, exaggeration, but I'm trying to make a point, which is Valmiki Ramayana. In Valmiki Ramayana, you will find everything. And then there is another mine like that, which is Mahabharata. Why am I saying this? So last night, something struck me. I mean, I am amazed still. So almost 24 hours now, but then I'm still struck, which is, so where are we in the story? I will come to what's that point. Where are we in the story? We are in the point Dasaratha wanted children. So for that, he brings up an idea that he has to do Ashwamedha Yaga, and everybody support the idea. Then Sumantra comes and tells him, yeah, you should go ahead. In fact, there was a story like this in which the story Sanat Kumara says Rishashringa will come and help Dasharatha, so you should do that. Now Rishashringa also they got. Now they are all ready for the yaga. So what's the point here is Dasharatha doesn't have a child, and then he wants to have a child. And then before I get into it, just let me take a small diversion and say that even Brihadaranyaka Upanishad starts like this with Ashwamedha Yaga, and then the very next chapter of the first Brahmana itself. So the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has 6 Brahmanas, I think, so sections, and in each section you have chapters. So first chapter of first Brahmana itself is about Ashwamedha. It's called Ashwamedha Brahmana. So even the chapters within a section is called Brahmana. So Ashwamedha Brahmana, and then the second kind of Brahmanam. So what is its name? I don't remember, but then it starts like this. So there is nothing. So 9. So Nakinchana Asit Mrityunaiva Grastam Asit. So there are mantras like that. So there was nothing, but then actually there is nothing. Like even it's not like this Dasharatha, the Jiva, who thinks he is the body, thinks there is no Deha Vyatirikta Atma, but he wants now an Atma, something like that. But it's not like he doesn't have an Atma. It's just a matter of understanding that he should understand, yes, there is some Dehavyatirikta Atma. Anyway, so that was a detour. What I'm trying to say that so last night what struck me, so in Nayayikas accept something called 9 reasons. So for any 9 karanas, for anything to come about, you should have 9 karanas. And then what amazed me is that all those 9 karanas are mentioned in this Ramayana from whatever Sarga, 8th Sarga or wherever, when Dasharatha thinks that he has to have a child, till the 18th Sarga, where actually Rama is born. So what are those nine karanas? I will tell you 8, and then I will tell you the ninth. For the sake of effect, I will postpone it a little, but I will tell you. So 8 karanas. What is it? So first, simple. There should be a praga bhava of the thing that you want. So now Dasharatha wants a son. So what is one of the karanas for the son to come up? One of the karanas is there should be a prior non-existence, praga bhava. So for the son now to newly come up, he should not have a son in the beginning, So praga bhava of the thing, of anything. So praga bhava of a thing is required for the thing to come into an existence. Now, so praga bhava, so that's how it started. Dasharatha does not have a son. So of course desha is required. So Dasharatha, so Ayodhya was described, So desha, so the desha or the desha is not country, but then desha is the place or space in which a thing has to come up. So desha is required. Then you need something. You need Ishvara. So Ishvaraha sarva karana karanam. So you need Ishvara for everything. And then Ishvaras. So I have told you 2, praga bhava, desha, Ishvara is 3rd, and then tasya ichha jnana kritayaha. So Ishvara's ichha, Ishvara's jnana, and Ishvara's kriti. Ishvara's kriti means Ishvara's action. He has to act upon it. So ichha jnana kritayaha. So Ishvara's ichha is desire, Ishvara's jnana, that is Ishvara's knowledge, and Ishvara's kriti, Ishvara's action. He has to act upon it. So these 4 will come later. So these devatas will go to Narayana, and then they will tell Narayana that there is a Ravana like this. You have to be born as Dasharatha's son and do these things. So yeah, that is there. So according to Nayayikas, this jnana of Ishvara is nitya. So jnana, ichha, these things for the Ishvara, all the gunas for Ishvara, it is nitya. It's always there. So that also Valmiki captures. You see, so there in that sarga we will see it will come. I think 17th or 16th sarga. So Valmiki says Janannapi Narayana. So Narayana, he knows these things, but still he's like so this is like Purana kind of story aspect of philosophy. So you're making philosophy into a story, then you should bring in something called Ishvara's jnana. So somebody has to go and relate to him. So there's Narayana, his jnana. So these people go and tell him. So there is knowledge, and then ichha, he has to decide that he has to be born as Dasharatha's son, and then he acts upon it. So he thinks now that my amsha, or I will go as Dasharatha's son. So that action is also there. And then there is something called, so I told you now 5, I think. So praga bhava of the thing, then desha, then Ishvara, then Ishvara's ichha, jnana, and kriti. So I told you 6. The seventh one is pratibandhaka bhava. So you need something, and there is some pratibandhaka, something that is stopping from the thing to rise. So there should be a bhava of that vighna, the pratibandhaka. So the pratibandhaka here is Dasharatha's papa. So because of some papa, he is not having children, and that pratibandhaka will be removed through this Ashwamedha Yaga. So the pratibandhaka's removal is there, which will happen. So pratibandhaka bhava also Valmiki is capturing. I'm trying to show how Valmiki is capturing all these 9 elements. So pratibandhaka bhava, that is the 7th. And 8th is adrishtam. Adrishtam is roughly, you can say, luck. So of course luck is not a random luck, but an adrishtam that you have let's say you have acquired through your own punya karma. So anyway, so adrishtam is a luck factor, and that luck factor is being addressed through Rishya. So if there is so it's some great papa perhaps he is having. So even if Ashwamedha is being done, who knows? So therefore, if Rishya presence is there, that is also taken care of. So adrishtam is also introduced. See, Valmiki introduced all these 8, and then what's the ninth, the last but not the least, and the last thing that even Valmiki mentions. So in the 18th sarga, the 9th thing, most important, is time. So everything is there, but then it should be the appropriate time for the thing to come up, and that's how Valmiki describes. So Chaitre Navamiki Titho. So Valmiki mentions the time in which Rama is born. So that time. So until that time comes, Rama cannot be born also. So take it like that. So Nayayikas accept 9 karanas. All those 9 Valmiki is mentioning. Something by Rama's grace struck me. struck me last night. So I'm still amazed about it. All those 9 karanas which Nayayikas are talking about, Valmiki is also mentioning. So some other additional points related to this I thought I will make, which is that texts like the Ramayana and then Mahabharata also, every time you read it, there is something new that comes up, that something new that you discover. Even if you read 10 times, the 11th time when you read, you discover something new. So like I discovered this 9 Karanas of Nayayikas in Valmiki's Ramayana last night by Rama's grace. So it's like that. But then you should have heard these things first from. You can always look upon these itihasas from your contemporary kind of understanding, not your contemporary viewpoints, but contemporary understanding, things like that. You can do that, but then you have to have had an understanding of the text itself from the traditional standpoint also. You can build upon it, but don't go against what the spirit of the text itself is. And how will you know what the spirit of the text is? Because you will know by listening it to it from Mahatmas who have been talking about it, who have studied it, who have tried to live it. So you don't go against the spirit of it, but build upon it. That is always welcome. So there is a shloka by Abhinava Gupta. So 2-3 days back was Abhinava Gupta's Jayanti. There is a reason why I'm telling all this. So the shloka, very beautiful shloka. It's a famous shloka, famous as in people who know little Samskrita Sahitya. This is very famous. I have been told that the shloka is found in Abhinava Gupta's commentary on Natya Shastra. And what's the shloka? So urdhvordhvam aruhya yad arthatattvam dheev pashyati shrantim avedayanti phalam tad adyaihi parikalpitanam viveka sopana paramparanam. Beautiful shloka. What's this? The essence of the shloka is, so Newton perhaps said, they say Newton said like that, though. So what I see is I'm standing on the shoulders of giants and seeing. So giants, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants and seeing what I see. So that means he's building upon the work that has been done before him. So that is how we should also approach the study of these texts. So you build upon what Mahatmas have spoken. Don't go against it, but build upon it. So that's the meaning of the shloka also. So urdhvordhvam aruhya yad arthatattvam dheev pashyati. So this dhi, our mind is seeing some new, so it's seeing new vistas of meaning of a text or something like that. But then how are you seeing? You are urdhvordhvam aruhya. You're standing taller and taller and taller. And where are you standing upon? So you're standing upon the ladder that has already been built upon people before you. So phalam tad adyaihi parikalpitana. So what you are seeing is the result, phalam, of the of what these people who have come before you, adyahi parikalpitanam, they have studied it, they have presented it, and you are standing on their shoulders and watching this. So Abhinava Gupta is from 1000 AD, 1000 CE. So anyway, so Newton is from 17th century or something, 16th or 17th century, be that as it may. So he's also saying that viveka sopana paramparanam. So how have they built up that ladder? Through viveka. Sopana means ladder. So viveka sopana paramparanam. So urdhvordhvam aruhya arthatattvam dheev pashyati shrantim avedayanti. So you also have, when you see that new vistas, so newer vistas when you see standing upon this shoulders or on the ladder that has already been built by people before us, so you kind of have that amazement of understanding when you see this new vista. So that is a result of all work that has been done before you. That's the meaning of the shloka. So that is the attitude that we should have when we are studying these texts like Ramayana and Mahabharata. So why am I saying this also? One of the reasons is recently there was some posts that I saw on Facebook on, who's the real hero of Mahabharata. And then I thought the real heroes of Mahabharata was perhaps Yudhishthira. So if nobody, I mean, if you have read little of Mahabharata, then you will say that Yudhishthira is the hero of Mahabharata. If you have read Mahabharata thoroughly, so who's the hero or the central characters of Mahabharata, then you will say Krishna. Okay, and then what's the role of these Pandavas? So Pandavas are not, 5 different people. So Pandavas are one only, and I'm not even bringing some symbology here. So there are no 5 Pandavas. So Pandavas together form one whole. And I mean, why am I saying all this is because I have some time today. Today's sarga is very small, and then, like I said, repeated shloka. So I thought I will make some points. So these people said, so they compared how many wars each one fought and how many wars did they win. So by all that, so the greatest number of wars fought and won was by Bhima. So they say Bhima is the greatest warrior of Mahabharata. So I mean, so okay, I mean, why are you saying that? Because as I understand, so these people want kind of, so they are themselves something what I call as dharma warriors. So you want a warrior ideal figure, and then Yudhishthira doesn't seem to fit that kind of idea that you want, because because he's somewhat, so in your view he's somewhat very so silent, a person who chalta hai. I mean, okay, so some kind of person who takes things as they come upon him very meekly. So that's the idea of Yudhishthira you have, and so that kind of Yudhishthira cannot be your ideal. You want an ideal that will fight very ferocious and things like that, and then therefore Bhima seems to fit your narrative, and then you kind of add to that. And then these people also say that there is a context in the Mahabharata. My intention is not to go into Mahabharata, but I'm making a point here. I will not go into the details of the story also. So in Mahabharata, so Draupadi, what should I say, Vastrapaharanam, in that context. So there is a shloka in Mahabharata that says Bhima tells Yudhishthira, he tells Nakula or Sahadeva, please bring fire. I will, and then he will tell Yudhishthira, I will burn your hands. So that's the literal meaning of the shloka. So it cannot be that Bhima ever says something like that to his elder brother. So you should, when you create some kind of interpretations, you should take the entire text in context and then speak. So these kind of, you create your own meanings. You should not create such meanings, is what I felt. You should listen to what people have been. So first of all, we don't have time to read the Moolam of Mahabharata, so 1 lakh plus verses, and then we don't have time, definitely we don't have time to read so Vyakhyas on Mahabharata. Neelakantha and everybody have written Bhavartha Deepika, I think. So Vyakhyas like that, we definitely don't have time. But then elders have spoken on it. So the majority in the audience today are Telugu people. So Malladi Chandrasekhara Shastri, I took his name earlier. He has spoken elaborately on Mahabharata, on the orders of, so Bharati Tirtha Swamigal. He has spoken elaborately. So about 18 talks are available on YouTube, and each talk is about 3 hours. So actually when he spoke, it was about, I think, 1 hour per day or something. But then he spoke elaborately on Mahabharata. We should listen to these things. So anyway, those things are there. Just because I brought up that story, let me finish. So what Bhima is telling there Yudhishthira is, he's not telling I will burn your hands. He's telling I am like your hands, so I will burn myself instead of sitting quietly. So that's the meaning he's telling. I thought so. I was a little, I mean, amused by looking at these explanations that were thrown out recently in on Facebook and other platforms. So you have to read these contexts. So who are these Pandavas? Who's this Draupadi? So what is this Mahabharata war? These things are there in the Mahabharata only, and you should look into it with that perspective. You might not agree with that kind of a narrative, but then that's the framework in which Mahabharata is put up. And if you all are interested, maybe you can read in the place where, so Draupadi's wedding happens, so Arjuna wins over Draupadi, and that story is there. Kunti is at home and they bring her, and then Kunti says, whatever you have. She thinks they brought some food, so she says, so you distribute it amongst all 5 of you. And then later she discovers that it was Draupadi, and then after 1 or 2 days there is some discussion on what should be done now. I mean, now that this decision has been made, should we marry Draupadi to all 5? So this discussion happens in Drupada's kingdom, in Drupada's assembly. This kind of charcha happens. Pandavas are there, Kunti is there, so Drupada's son, what is his name, Drishtadyumna or something, so they are all there. So this discussion happens, and then Vyasa comes and tells one secret story to Drupada. He takes him inside and tells a story. That's the essence of Mahabharata. Okay, so you should listen to these things and then come to that conclusion. Anyway, so I have taken a great diversion, but I thought I will say these. So it's nice to see newer vistas. So like by God's grace, I saw this Nayayika's kind of perspective in Ramayana, but then you see newer vistas by building upon what has been already spoken. You don't unnecessarily kind of bring in narratives which are not already there. I mean, that's injustice to the spirit of these things. Anyway, I started with a very nice thing. I don't know where I went. My point was those 9 karanas which Nayayikas are speaking about, it's there. So Valmiki as though presents these things in these sargas up to the 18th sarga, where finally, so very beautifully, the final thing that he brings in about is time only. So time is very essential. There is one quote from the Bible which struck me a lot. Don't mind, I'm quoting from the Bible. So that quote is, there is season for everything and time for every event under heaven. So if you want reference also, I remember it's a quote that struck me a lot. I liked it a lot. The reference is Ecclesiastes. There is a book like that. So 3:1 or something. So book of Ecclesiastes. Anyway, so season for everything and time for every event under heaven. So Valmiki is also speaking about seasons only. There also he brings seasons. Anyway, so let's come to this Dwadasha Sarga. Now that I have taken so much time, we'll try to finish this sarga today. Like I said, most of the shlokas here are the same ditto shlokas that we have already seen in 8th Sarga or whatever, where Dasharatha decides upon performing the Ashwamedha Yaga. So अथ द्वादश सर्गः ततः काले बहुतिथे कस्मिंश्चित् सुमनोहरे वसन्ते समनुप्राप्ते राज्ञो यष्टुं मनोभवत्. So tataha means thereafter, after this Rishyashringa has come, so thereafter, so at a time after that, and then Tilakakara is very nicely saying tataha means, so after Dasharatha, he listens to the story, he's so convinced now that Rishyashringa has come, definitely I will get children and it's only a matter of time. Such kind of conviction he has. Tataha means after having such a conviction, bahutithe kale. So bahutithe means after, so literally it means after many days, bahutithe kale, after many days have passed. So but then bahutithe here you should, so Tikakaras, all the three are saying bahutithe means analpe, so after little days only. In the in the word itself, bahu is there, bahu means many, so there are sutras like that. So this bahutitha is a very nice word. So this there is sutras in Panini just for this one word. So bahugana vatu dati sankhya, then tasya purane dat, and there is one more sutra, so tithuk, all these things are there. So ultimately by these three sutras you get this word bahutitha. So bahutitha means many days, so long time. So but then here bahutithe kale, so Tikakaras are saying after small time only. So I was wondering why is it, so literally it means many days, but Tikakaras are telling after a few days. That's because Dasharatha, so the answer that perhaps I came up with is that because Dasharatha is very anxious now, when will I have children? So because of that anxiety, even small time, I have to do yaga and then I will get children. So while that anticipation is there, even small time appears as long time. Why are we not doing the yaga yet? But like I said, for everything time has to come, and the time has come now for the yaga itself. So after some days of Rishyashringa coming, this yaga is going to start. Kasminshchit sumanohare kale prapte. So that's the meaning. So prapte is also there. So some kasminshchit means some a particular time has come. Sumanohare, a beautiful time. That means a time which is appropriate for the yaga has come. Vasante samanuprapte. Vasanta Rutu has come now, and then even Vedas says Vasante Juhuyat and things like that. So in which Rutu what you should perform, that is also their discussion in the Vedas. So Vasante Samanuprapte Rajno Yashtum Mano Bhavat. So to this King Dasharatha, now this thought has come that now we have to perform the yaga. Now that everything is ready, this yaga itself has to start. So mind you, the 2-3 sargas or maybe 4-5 sargas after this is a description of the yaga itself. And then Govinda Raja, of all the 3 Tikakaras that I am having in front of me, Govinda Raja very nicely describes how everything that Dasharatha is saying and doing is accordance with the Shruti Vakyas on Ashwamedha Yaga itself. So I will try to tell you 1 or 2, but I don't want to go in deep because that will be a different topic in itself. But he writes very elaborate commentary. In fact, he quotes the Vedic mantra and then he quotes from the Bhashya. So there is one Sayana Bhashya which we all know. But something that is not well known in like common masses, but then well known in people who study Veda Bhashya, there is something called Bhatta Bhaskara's Bhashya. So on Taitriya Shakha, on Krishna Yajurveda, there is Bhatta Bhaskara's Bhashya. He quotes from Bhatta Bhaskara's Bhashya also to show that all that Dasharatha is saying and doing is in accordance with Taitriya Shruti, and Bhatta Bhaskara's Bhashya is also elaborating on the same lines that it is there here. Anyway, that point being made, I am saying I don't want to go deeper into that, because then as a Vedantin I would feel that I should bring Ashwamedha Brahmanam from Brihadaranyaka and then speak about the Vedanta side of it also. So I don't want to do either because it takes longer time. That's for a different time. That's a different topic in itself. Anyway, Vasante Samanuprapte Rajno Yashtum Manobhavat. So the time, auspicious time of Vasanta Rutu has come, and then Dasharatha got this thought that I have to do this yaga. Now the yaga has to finally begin. So that kind of thought Dasharatha got. Tatah pranamya shirasa tam vipram deva varninam yajnaya varayamasa santanartham kulasya cha. So Tataha, thereafter, after he got this thought, so Deva Varninam Vipram Shirasa Pranamya. Deva Varninam means that Vipra is here, Rishyashringa, that Rishyashringa whose Deva Varninam means he who has splendor like, so Tejas like Devatas. To look at this guy, this Rishyashringa is looking like Deva only. So some Devata, he's looking as though he's like a Devata. So to such Rishyashringa, he does Shirasa Pranamya, having bowed down by head. Then what does he say? Yajnaya varayamasa santanartham kulasya. So this varayamasa also came earlier. So varayamasa means he requested him that then why did he request? So this is exactly the same kind of words came there. So why did he request? What did he request for? Yajnaya. So for the sake of yajna, he requested Rishishringa. And why do you want to do yajna? Santanartham. For the sake of children, I want to do yaga. Why do you want children? Kulasya. My kula, my lineage has to continue, and through that I have to go to Swarga. So these things are there. So in Shraddha Karma, so Vasu, Rudra and Aditya Swarupas, they say. So our Pitrudevatas take the form of, so if my father has passed away, which he has, but my father takes the form of Vasu, then grandfather takes the form of Rudra, and then the great grandfather takes the form of Aditya. So Vasu, Rudra, Aditya. Maybe I'm telling the other way, but I'm sure Vasu, Rudra, Aditya, not Aditya, Rudra, Vasu. But anyway, Vasu, Rudra, Aditya forms they take, and then suppose I die and my son performs my Shraddha, then that Aditya place, whoever Pitra, my great grandfather, he goes to Swarga, and then places jump. My grandfather goes to Aditya's place, my father goes to Vasu's place, and then I go to the Rudra's place, and I go to Vasu's place. Anyway, so ultimately, so this kind of thing is there. So one step, and then when I die, that great grandfather goes to Swarga, and then everybody moves one step higher. So such thing is there in the Vedas. So Vasurudra, Aditya, Swarupa, Pitrudevatas are there. So if I have children, then ultimately that lineage continues, and someday I will go to Aditya Sthana, and from thereafter, when subsequently they have children, I will go to Swarga. That kind of an idea. So that's the idea. He wants to do yaga so that he will have children, so that his lineage continues, and through that he will go to Swarga. That's the idea. So he expresses this desire to Rishishringa, and then what happens? Tatheti chasa rajanam uvacha vasudhadipam sambhara sambhriyantam te turagascha vimuchyatam saravyaschotare tire yagnabhumir vidhiyatam. So we have seen same kind of shlokas. The entire sarga almost proceeds on same lines. So tatheti cha rajanam uvacha. So tatha means okay, sure, definitely, like that. Rishishringa tells this Rajanam uvacha to this Raja Vasudhadipam. Rajanam, to this Dasharatha, who is the king and who rules over the entire earth. To that Raja, this Rishishringa says, okay, definitely. And then he vacha, what does he say subsequently? Sambhara sambhriyantante turagascha vimuchyatam. So please collect all the things that is required for the yaga, collect them, and then let loose the Yajnashva, please let loose. Turagascha vimuchyatam. So Turaga means horse. Let loose this for the Ashwamedha yaga. That horse has to go around for 1 year, it has to go around. Then after 1 year, it will be brought back. 1 year, wherever it goes, those suppose it goes to another kingdom, then that king has to either accept your Chakravartitvam or go into a fight with you, and then you have to defeat him. Things like that. So therefore you have to let loose the horse. So do that, and then Saravya Strottare Tire Yajna Bhumir Vidhiyatam. So on the northern banks of Sarayu, so you construct this Yajna Bhumi. So I told all this. So perhaps they are on the southern banks, and then they are telling on the northern bank, let's do this yaga. Because this yaga, Yajna Vedi, everything has to be constructed. It takes a long, space is required. So Ayodhya is a great city. So much space may not be available. So you have to build this at a place where there is empty land. So so that's the idea. So on the northern banks of Sarayu, let's do it. Then Tato Bravin Rupo Vakyam Brahmanan Veda Paragan Sumantravahaya Kshipram Ritvijo Brahmavadinaha. So after listening to these words of Rishishringa, Dasharatha tells his mantri Sumantra. What is he telling? So Tataha means thereafter, having heard Rishishringa's words, Abravin Nrupaha Abravit. So this Nrupa, Dasharatha, is telling the following words. To whom is he telling? Sumantra. To Sumantra. Hey Sumantra, he is telling. So direct speech. So this Nrupa is telling this following words. Brahmanan Veda Paragan, these Brahmanas who have studied Vedas. Veda Paragan means those who have crossed over the Vedas. So it means that they have seen the end of the Vedas. That means they have studied the Vedas completely. So such Brahmanas, Sumantra, hey Sumantra, Avahaya, please go and bring them. So Kshipram, so quickly go and bring them. Ritvijo, Ritvijaha, Brahmavadinaha. So this Ritviks, go and get them. So some Tikakara has said Ritvik means what? So one who does yaga. I'm not able to instantly find out that exact line, but so he says Ritvik means so one who performs that yaga which is appropriate for that Ritu. So for that season, for every season some yaga is specified. Not every season, for some seasons some yagas are specified. So in that season he performs this yaga. He's a Ritvik. That is one meaning anyway. So other meanings are there. So Ritvik, so these Ritviks and Brahmavadinaha, these great Brahmanas. So Kshipram Anaya. So Kshipra means quickly. Please get them quickly. And then so these things are also, so this is where Govinda, so this so what is his name? So Govinda Raja goes on. From here he starts. There are Shruti Vakyas how this king should bring in the Brahmanas who are required for Ashwamedha Yaga. So you have to bring them on, some of them you have to bring on elephants, some of them on horses perhaps, or something like that. I read, I don't remember right now. So these things are there. You have to send 15 elephants for this person, for then many elephants for this person, some elephants for this person. So such rules are there. All that he is following. That's the idea. So please get them quickly. Dasharatha is telling Sumantra, please get all of them. And then Suyagnyam. So who are those people? So he's giving that list. Suyagnyam Vamadevancha Jabalim Sakashyapam Purohitam Vasishthancha Echanye Dvijasattamaha. So whom all should you get? Hey Sumantra, please get all of these people. So Suyagnya, Vamadeva, these are all names of those rishis. Suyagnya, Vamadeva, Jabali, and then Kashyapa, and then my Purohitam Vasishthancha. So my Purohita Vasishtha, and then Yechanye Dvijasattamaha. So all other great Dvijas, all other great rishis, Brahmanas in that ashrama, please welcome all of them. Please bring them to this place. Tatas Sumantrastvaritam Gatvat Tvarita Vikramaha Samanayatsataan Sarvan Samastan Vedaparagan. Tataha, thereafter having heard Dasharatha's word, what does he do? Sumantra. So Sumantraha Tvaritam Gatva. So Sumantraha is Tvarita Vikramaha. Sumantra is somebody who can go very quickly. So what does a person who can go very quickly do? He goes very quickly. So Tvarita Vikramaha Tvaritam Gatva. So Sumantra who can go quickly, he goes quickly. And what does he do? Samanayat Saha, that Sumantra Samanayat, he brings them Tan Sarvan Samastan Vedaparagan. So all of them, Tan means them, so Sarvan, all of them, and Samastan means they are all assembled in one place. They are all in Vasishta's ashrama perhaps. So all of them, Vedaparagan, he brings them. Tan Pujayitva Dharmatma Raja Dasharathastada Dharmartha Sahitam Yuktam Lakshnam Vachanam Abravit. So they have come now to Dasharatha's palace. So Dasharatha extends to them the courtesies that befit their kind of stature or office. Tan Pujayitva Dharmatma Raja Dasharatha, that Dharmatma Raja Dasharatha, tada thereafter Dharmartha Sahitam Yuktam Lakshnam Vachanam Abravit. So he says these following words, and these words are filled with Dharmartha. So Dharmartha can also mean that, so that the desire, Artha, that this person wants, he desires, Dasharatha desires, is a very dharmic kind of desire. So that is, he wants children, so that his lineage continues and things like that. So such Dharmartha Sahitam means, so this desire which is very dharmic, such a desire he expresses through his words. So Lakshnam means very beautiful, sweet, Madhuram words he speaks, Vachanam Abravit. So what does he say? Mama tatapyamanasya putrartham nasti vaisukham putrartham hayamedhena yakshyamiti matirmama tadaham yashtumichhami hayamedhena karmana rishiputra prabhavena kaman prapsyami chapyaham. So he is telling, what does he say? Mama tatapyamanasya, to me who has been very anxious about having a children, sutta putrartham tatapyamanasya. So I have been always been wanting a child. So for me, for a person who's such anxious or whatever, worried about having a child, I don't have sukham because I don't have a son. So Buddha, so we are studying Dhammapada these days. So Buddha says one who is caught by desire, so he's panting like a fish which is thrown out of water. The state of a fish which is thrown out of water, that's how a person is who has desire. So something like that. Anyway, tatapya manasya is, I have great agony within me because I don't have a child, so that agony is troubling me. Nasti vai sukham. So putrartham hayamedhena yakshyamiti matirmama, because it's troubling me so much, I want to do this kamya karma for the sake of a son. So what do I want to do? Hayamedhena yakshyami. Through this Hayamedha is Ashwamedha Yaga. I want to perform this Ashwamedha Yaga so that this papa, whatever has been troubling me by not creating this atmosphere where I can have children, that papa goes and then children will be born. So tadaham yashtumichhami hayamedhena karmana. So therefore I want to perform that Hayamedha Yaga, Ashwamedha Yaga, because I got this thought, I want to perform it now. Hayamedhena yashtumichhami. So I want to perform that yaga called Ashwamedha. And Rishiputra prabhavena kaman prapsyami chapyaham. So by the prabhava, or the great, what should I say, tapobala of that Rishyashringa, Rishiputra. So I will see that my desire will be fulfilled. So that I have that conviction. Kaman prapsyami chapyaham. So he's very very, what should I say, very strongly saying, I will, my desires will be fulfilled because of the prabhava of Rishishringa. Then tatasadviti tadvakyam brahmana pratyapujayan vasishta pramukha sarve parthivasya mukhachyutam tataha. After hearing those words of Dasharatha, sadviti tadvakyam brahmana pratyapujayan, sadhu sadhu, that means very nice, you have expressed a very nice thing, I mean you have said very nicely. So that's the style of talking those days. So sadhu sadhu, they say like that. So sadviti tadvakyam brahmana pratyapujayan. So they are also praising those words of Dasharatha. He's having a dharmic, so he's having a desire, but then dharmic desire, okay, and then for that desire he's not doing some adharma. For that desire he's also wanting to achieve that through dharmic means. So they are happy. So they are praising that kind of words of Dasharatha, who all are praising Vasishta Pramukhaha Sarve. So Vasishta and all other rishis there are praising Parthivasya Mukhachutam, Parthiva's king, those words which have come out of the mouth of that king, Parthivasya Mukhachutam. Chutam means fallen down or come out of those words of that mouth of Dasharatha. Those words these people have praised. And then Rishyashringa Purogascha Pratyuchur Nrupatim Tada Sambhara Sambhriyantante Turagascha Vimuchyatam रव्याश्चोत्तरे तीरे यज्ञभूमिर्विधीयतां सर्वथा प्राप्स्यसे पुत्रांश्चतुरोमित विक्रमान् यस्य ते धार्मिकी बुद्धिरियं पुत्रार्थमागता. So Rishyashringa Purogascha Pratyuchur Nrupatim Tada. Tada means thereafter, having praised his words, now they are also saying something back in reply. And how are they saying? They are keeping Rishyashringa in front and speaking. That is, Rishyashringa and all others are saying these words. What are they saying? Sambhara Sambhriyantam, accumulate all that is required. And then Te Turagashcha Vimuchyatam, let loose the Ashwamedha horse. So Saravyash Chottare Tire Yajna Bhumir Vidhiyatam, build that Yajna Bhumi on the northern bank of Sarayu. Sarvatha Prapsyase Putrans Chaturo Amita Vikraman. So you will definitely means by all means, definitely you will give birth to 4 children. So Putran Chaturaha. So four children you will give birth to, and they will be Amita Vikraman. They will be people who have, so their greatness or their prowess will be something that cannot be measured. Such kind of children will be born. Yasyate dharmiki buddhiriyam putrartham agata. Why will you get those children? Because you have got this very dharmic desire. For the sake of children, this buddhi, this thought has come to you. So you will see the fruit, or the, what should I say, the completion or the success of that desire. That is, you will achieve what you desire. And then Tatah Prito Bhavadraja Shrutva Dvija Bhashitam Amatyan Abravidraja Harshenedam Shubhaksharam Tataha. So Tatah Prito Bhavadraja Shrutva Dvija Bhashitam. So Tataha Dvija Bhashitam Shrutva. After having heard those words of those rishis, now this Dasharatha is also very happy. Prito Bhavate, this Dasharatha became very happy, Raja Dasharatha. Then Amatyan Abravid Raja Harshenedam Shubhaksharam. So he told all his ministers who are around, so the Shubhaksharam, very auspicious words, and then very beautiful words he tells, and with great happiness, Harshena, he tells these words. What does he say? Gurunam vachanat shigram sambhara sambhriyantu me samarthadishtitascha sopadhyayo vimuchyatam. So Gurunam vachanat, by these words, those like these gurus have all instructed me, do like that. So what have they instructed? They have said build the Yajna Bhumi on the northern banks of Sarayu, so do that. So Gurunam Sambhara Sambhriyantu, so accumulate all those things, Sambharas which are required for the Yajnas, do that. These gurus have instructed, so do that, and build the Yajna Bhumi on the northern banks. And then Samarthadhishtitascha Ashwaha. So like I told you, this Ashwa which is sent out for this Ashwamedha Yaga has to be sent along with 100 or 1000, I think 100 soldiers. You have to, I told this already earlier. So because it has to conquer, if the enemy is challenging it, so they have to fight over him. So 100 soldiers are sent, and then Sopadhyayaha means there should be a Ritvik or whatever, a person who will do. So Ashwasya Pade Pade Juhuyat, everywhere that the Ashwa keeps its whatever foot, you have to do yaga there. So that kind of an idea is there. Of course, it means something more than just that. So Ashwasya Pade Pade Juhuyat. So for that you should send this Upadhyaya as a Purohita. You have to send them also. So Vimuchyatam. So Ashwaha Vimuchyatam. You send that horse, but not alone. You have to send that horse with 100 soldiers and this Ritvik who performs this yaga. Saravyastottare tire yajna bhumir vidhiyatam. So construct that yajna bhumi shantayascha bhivardhantam yatha kalpam yatha vidhi. So shantayah is even before a yaga is started. So today we call in for Laukika karmas, we call it as Nandi. You should do something called Nandi. So like that for Vedic karmas you have to do something called Shanti. So Shanti karmas are there even before you perform the yaga. Some preparatory kind of rituals to ward off evil and things like that. Some kind of preparatory rituals have to be done. So he's telling, so do those rituals also. Shantayascha bhivardhatam yatha kalpam yatha vidhi. How should you do the Shanti? Not that, so today if you see before Upanayana you should do Nandi, before marriage you should do Nandi, before everything auspicious you should do Nandi, they say. And then how to do Nandi? So women in the house, so Nandi consists of some kind of karmas which women generally do. So for those things, of course men also have things. So everybody in the house will throw out an opinion, in our house this is the culture, in our house this is the culture. So okay, that might be true, but how you should do yatha kalpam yatha vidhi, like it is stated in the Kalpa Sutras, and like it is stated in the Shastras. Do accordingly. Don't do as and how you wish. I think I told this before also. So in Matsya Purana it seems, so I don't know, I haven't read Matsya Purana, Tattvavedanta ji said this. So in Matsya Purana there is a story in which Bhishma does tarpanam to his father, and then so he's a great man, great tapasvi himself, Bhishma. So when he's sitting and doing tarpanam or shraddham to his father appears in his sharira. His father has died, that's why he's doing shraddha. So his father appears, and when this guy is doing Pinda Pradhanam, when Bhishma is doing Pinda Pradhanam, Shantanu appears, and then he stretches out his hand, but Bhishma will look at him up and down, but then he will put the Pinda on the Darbha, where it has to be put, he puts it there. Just because Shantanu appears, he doesn't give it in his hand, because the Vidhi says you have to place that Pinda on that, you put Darbha. So Darbha you put like this, what is it? So this is horizontally. So you put horizontally, Darbha you place vertically, I think. So on that you keep. So you keep these Darbhas or the Pinda on the Darbha. So according to that Shastra you have to do, not just like how you like and things like that. And more so when it is a Kamya Karma. When it is a Kamya Karma, you have to be sure that you do according to the Vidhi, because if you violate any Vidhi, then you will not get the result. That is what Dasharatha is telling the next shloka. Shakyah kartumayam yajnaha sarvena api mahikshita naparadho bhavet kashto yadyasmin kratu sattame. All these verses have come before also. So he's telling, if this yajna were so easy that it can be easily achieved, then everybody would have done it by now. The mere fact that not many people have done this Ashwamedha Yaga shows that it is very difficult. And if there are any doshas creep in between, so there will be always Brahma Rakshasas who are looking for doshas in yajnas, and then they will. So if there is a dosha in a yajna, whatever is offered in the yajna will not go to devatas; it will go to these Rakshasas, the Brahma Rakshasas, and things like that. So there are people who are always on the lookout for doshas in these yagas. So you should be careful of all these things. So yatha kalpam yatha vidhi, why you should do? Because of these things. So shakyaha kartum ayam yajnaha sarvenapi mahikshita naparadho bhavet kashtaha yadyasmin kratu sattame. That means if this kratu sattama, this great kratu or yaga, if it were such that aparadha kashto na bhavet. So yadi so aparadha is if there is any dosha in this yaga. So I have explained this already earlier, but I am repeating it. So if there is any aparadha that creeps up during the karma, you have to do some prayashchitta. Okay, so if so Sandhya Vandana, if you don't do on time, so the prayashchitta arghyam you have to give. What is prayashchitta arghyam? So one more time you offer. So you recite Gayatri mantra and offer one more arghyam. It's a very simple prayashchitta. Perhaps that's why people, I mean, afford to do. I get up late and do Sandhyandanam late. But suppose the prayashchitta was very difficult, what will happen? So you perhaps will become even more alert and say, I cannot do such prayashchitta. So it's better I do the karma properly. That is one way. The other way can be, I cannot do the prayashchitta, let me give up the karma only. So I mean, it all depends on how your priorities are. But then Dasharatha is not such a person. So he wants to do the karma, but then the prayashchittas for the aparadha are very difficult. Had it not been difficult, then everybody would have done. So shakyaha kartumayam yajnaha sarvenapi mahikshita. Mahikshita, sarvenapi mahikshita means by all these kings it could have been done, had the prayashchitta not been very difficult for the aparadhas for this yaga. That's the meaning. So sometimes I take inspiration from this. I was telling my mother even this evening. So both of you have done PhD, so you will know. So I'm just a few months into my PhD. So I was telling my mother it's very difficult to do a PhD, very difficult to get an idea. More so if you are in a field like me, where so I do research, kind of attempt to do research in theoretical economics, where it's not very easy to come up with ideas. It's not like you have some data and do something and come up with a result. So I was telling it's not easy. Had it been easy, everybody would have done it. So very fact that I am doing should. So I told her this shloka and told her what's the meaning. Why am I quoting this? So I wanted her to tell you are doing it because you are great, and she said it. I was happy. Anyway, so that is a diversion. So what I'm trying to say, the aparadha is very difficult because the prayashchitta is very difficult, and that's why not everybody does it. So what's the meaning? You should be very alert to these things. So chidram hi mrigayante मृगयन्त्येते विद्वांसो ब्रह्मराक्षसाः विधिहीनस्य यज्ञस्य सद्यः कर्ता विनश्यति. All this has come before and I have told it already. So there are these brahmarakshasas who are great experts in all these, so they already know this, how these karmas should be, and they are hanging around perhaps. They see, oh, there's some karma, some dosha has crept in, so they will take the phalam of the offerings, whatever is offered, they will take it, because if the doshas have crept in, then devatas don't take the whatever offered things. So vidhihinasya yajnasya sadyah karta vinashyati. Also, if you don't do a yaga properly according to the vidhi, then karta vinashyati. Sadyah karta vinashyati. The karta will immediately. So vinashyati means so he will not get the result with which he has intended to do the karma. So tadyatha vidhi purvam me kraturesha samapyate tatha vidhanam kriyatam samarthah karaneshviha. So tadyatha vidhi purvam me kraturesha samapyate. Like, so how, what you should do that makes sure that my desire or the karma happens according to the vidhi, you do accordingly. That means do all that is required for this yaga to be done as per vidhi. So do like that. Tatha vidhanam kriyatam. So do like that. Do in such a way that all the required karmas or so Ashwamedha is an elaborate karma. So there is a main karma and then you have some small karmas which form the whole. So all these things are there in Puruvamsa. They discuss these things. So do all of them correctly so that the entire karma is performed according to vidhi. So kriyatam. So do like that. And then why am I telling you? Because samartha karaneshviha. You people are experts in carrying out these orders and implementing them. Anyway, so tatheti cha tatas sarve mantrinah pratyapujayan पार्थिवेन्द्रस्य तद्वाक्यं यथाज्ञप्तम् अकुर्वत. So tataha, thereafter, after listening to these words of Dashratha, sarve mantrinaha, all those mantris, tatheti, they also says tatha, okay, definitely. Pratyapujayan. Pratyapujayan means they respected those words of Dashratha. Parthivendrasya tadvakyam pratyapujayan, having respected those words of Dashratha and having said tatha, definitely we will do like that. What did they do? Yathajñaptam akurvata. So like they have been instructed to do, they do that also. Then tatodvijaste dharmagnyam dharmagnyas tatodvijaste, there is some print problem here. Tatodvijaste dharmagnyam astuvan parthivarshabham. I hope that's how it is. So tatodvijaste dharmagnyam astuvan parthivarshabham अनुज्ञातास ततः सर्वे पुनर्जग्मुर यथागतम. So tatah dvijaha, te dvijaha, those dvijas that are assembled there. Thereafter, after Dasharatha instructs those ministers to do all these things. So dharmagnyam astuvan, so parthivarshabham, so the great king, so the best amongst kings. So this Dasharatha, what do they do? So astuvan, so they praise this Dasharatha, this Dasharatha who knows dharma. So that Dasharatha they all praise. And then anugnataha tatas sarve punarjagmur yathagatam. Anugnata, so they take permission to leave. So take permission means it's a way of saying, so okay, so I will leave now. So they say that, and the host also says yes, please. So leave means you should always say I will come again. So anyway, so they take that permission and go. And then where do they go? From wherever they came, they go there. Punarjagmur yathagatam, like they came, they go there. And gatanam teshu vipreshu mantrinastan naradhipaha visarjayitva swamveshma pravivesha mahamatihi. So after they have gone, then this king, so when those vipras, those brahmanas go, then this king, what does he do? He also what should I say, disperses the assembly. He sends his ministers and he also goes to swamveshma. He goes to his own palace. So pravivesha mahamatihi, this Mahamati Dasharatha goes to his own palace. So Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane Valmiki Adi Kavye Balakande Dvadasha Sargaha. So we have finished 12th Sarga. 13th Sarga we will start tomorrow. So what's the difference between this Sarga And so you must have recollected that the same shlokas were there even in 8th Sarga. So Dasharatha, like as the calls upon a meeting, he discusses with the ministers, then he calls all the Brahmanas, Rishis, he discusses with them, then they go back to their ashrama, he disperses the assembly and he goes back to his palace. Same thing is there here. What's the difference between then and now? Then was an idea. In the 8th Sarga, it was an idea, a plan, a proposal that was mooted out and people agreed. Now actually it happened. Now they sent the horse also. So Akurvata came, those ministers did as ordered by Dasharatha. So not just that they went back, but then they also do whatever Dasharatha has instructed, they do. And then the next Sarga we will see. So 1 year has to pass, all this Vimuchatam, Ashwaha Vimuchatam has come, but nowhere Valmiki has exactly said that the Ashwa has been let loose also. Okay, but then the next Sarga already starts, 1 year is over. So between this Sarga and the next Sarga, there is 1 year's time gap. Though we are going to have 1 day's time gap, but then Valmiki starts with after 1 year. So 1 year has passed. Another Vasanta Rutu has come, he says. That means 1 year has passed. So the difference between that Sarga and this Sarga is here actually the Ashwa has been let loose. Back then it was a proposal. The idea was there, and now the Ashwa has been actually let loose. So you should assume between now and the next Sarga that this Ashwa is roaming about. Perhaps he challenged Dasharatha's authority, or if somebody is challenged, he even conquered them. So those things have been done. So I will not continue the next Sarga. The next Sarga is bigger also. It has some 40 shlokas or something. I thought I will do 5 or 10 verses in today's class, but then okay, let me not do it. Already we have, we are not one hour, but then okay, I will leave 5-10 minutes early today. So that's the thing. So we have finished the Sarga for now. Tomorrow we will continue with the next Sarga. So Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane Valmiki Adi Kavye Balakande Dwadasha Sargaha Om Yatra Yatra Raghunath Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakанjalim Vashpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramarpanamastu.